Yes, I'm Pastor Barrett Living Ministries here in the great city of Charlotte. Let's get right to it today on day 11. We want to talk about how do we coexist as Christians with those who are not Christian. How do we coexist and live our lives as believers around those who don't believe? How do we coexist with people who fast as people that fast around people who don't fast? I found out recently, just doing this fast, there's so many people who never even heard of the Daniel fast. So you're doing something amazing by that. Once upon a time, I had a weed garden. No. I actually had a vegetable garden with a whole lot of weeds. In my backyard in Indiana, when I was living there, I decided to turn my backyard into a beautiful garden, miniature farm, really miniature. But in any case, I tilled the soil, went and bought a tiller, tilled the soil, made rows real beautiful, planted my seeds, and I start seeing the spinach and the broccoli and the tomatoes and all this beautiful stuff start to come up. But then right along with it, there were these things called weeds. I didn't put the weeds there, but they came there anyway. So I found myself having to pull the weeds out so that my vegetables could grow. Yes. But I found here, though, what Jesus said in the 13th chapter of Matthew, he gives the parable of the weeds. He He has a different approach. He says here in verse 24, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. Okay. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. So that works the opposite of what I'm trying to achieve. They had weeds and vegetables at the same time, weeds and wheat at the same time. See, God has given a parable about how we coexist together as the good and the bad, the vegetables and the weeds, those who love God, and we coexist. God wants us to coexist. He goes on, and the folks asked him, said, did an enemy do this? No, the servants asked him again, do you want us to go and pull the weeds up? Jesus is like, no, don't pull them up. He says, no. Because while you're pulling up the weeds, you might uproot the wheat. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I would tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it into the barn. What Jesus is teaching us here is not to worry about trying to divide ourselves from those who are unbelievers. I believe what God really wants us to do is to be a living testimony of how to live our lives as Christians. So as you go through the season of fasting and praying, and you're living your life, a normal life, not like, oh man, I can't eat beef, but you're experiencing the joy and the power that comes from the discipline that you're gaining from this process. What God is doing is He's shaping and forming you into the women and men of God He wants you to be, but at the same time, He's making you strong enough so that you can coexist in a world that's going awry. Because at the right time, Jesus will send angels who will separate the wheat from the weed, from the believers from the unbelievers, from those who go into heaven and those who will burn in hell. Don't worry about it. You live your life with a focus on what God has intended for you to do. You live your life setting upon the promises of God. You live your life understanding that the battle is not yours, but it's God's. And let God do the work to save you from your enemy, to be your victor for you. He'll be the vindicator for those who seek to hurt you. Let God be God. Go out today on this day 11 and experience the goodness and greatness of God. Embrace this fast. Go hard in the fast. Spend some time in prayer and set yourself apart, but in the presence of those who don't believe. And let your life be a reflection of Him, and let His glory show through you as you walk into His destiny and purpose for you. Hey, it's Pastor. God bless.